All right, so we're going to talk about how we turned this image into this profile picture. All right, so let's jump right in. Um, First things first, I actually um, could have done a lot of things, but the main thing that I started with is actually removing myself from the background, and it's really simple. Yes, I could have used the magic wand, quick selection, and all that. But once I have any of these tools selected, even the object selection tool, which I could have used as well, but I didn't. Only thing I did was select one of those tools, then go to select subject right here. So once you select subject, you'll get a selection of the main subject, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good. But if you want to improve whatever you have, you can go to select and mask, and then you can kind of see what you're really working with. And at that point, you can then zoom in or and see what the hair looks like. So in my case, I brought in, oops, let's swap that. Instead of plus, we're going to do minus. And I brought this in some. And if you really want to get detailed, what you can do is use this tool right here, which will allow you to have your hair. It's basically designed so that your hair can you can still see the details in your hair, basically. Even right here will be a good idea to do that. And we can do that up here as well. Just highlight that. And at this point, this is basically what I'm hoping for. So we can just press OK. And now you can't see it as well, but you're about to. So what I'm going to do is, before I mask this out and separate my, remove myself in the background, I'm just going to create a new layer, and I'm going to put that layer at the bottom. Oh, I can't do that right now because this is a background layer. So if you ever run into that problem where you can't put a layer under here, it's probably because this is a background layer. So just unlock it and it automatically converts into a regular layer. So now we're just going to bring this layer down here, and I have this color, this nice yellow right here, and I'm just going to press a quick key. I'm going to press Alt and delete or backspace, and notice that this filled in where my selection is. I didn't want to do that. I forgot that my selection was still there. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to undo that, and I'm just not going to worry about my background yet. I'll put my background color in a second. I'll just go ahead and mask myself. And there's a couple of things I can do. I can press Command J so I can have a layer that's separate, and it'll just be me. So if I press Command J, this is what's going to happen. Now I have a new layer. If you look at my layers panel, and I have this layer, which is cool and everything, but that will mean I still have, an extra layer and all that good stuff. But I like to do this now. I used to do Command J, but I like to do this. Just mask it by clicking the layer mask. And now I have this layer mask. And the great thing about the layer mask is, if there were anything in here that needed to be adjusted and or even brought back, I can go to my layer mask, which is this black and white area, grab my eraser or my paintbrush, and I can add or take away whatever I needed to add or take away. So that's why I like layer mask better than just pressing Command J, or Control J, which just basically copies what you have and puts it in a separate layer. So back to the background. If I press Alt and backspace, then I get this color in the background. And um, yeah, and I kind of, yeah, I'll just keep it for right now. All right, so the next thing that I did was actually get rid of my um, color. So what I could do is go to hue and contrast, or what was it? What was it? Not hue and contrast, it's vibrance. I did that, but I could also, yeah, brightness and contrast. I like playing with this anytime I'm dealing with taking away color, because you can still, you can get a lot more, um, basically you get more control when you have brightness and contrast when you're dealing with your image. Now I'm pressing this button right here so that as I adjust anything here, it's going to adjust it to this image and not into my entire image, including the background. So now if you notice, if I let this go, my background color changes, because if I have this selected, it's saying I'm just focusing it on my photo and not my background. So let's just keep that in mind. So now as I change this and adjust it, you know, I don't have to worry about my background changing as well. And I'm going to do that one more time with a different adjustment layer, and that's going to be with vibrance. And the cool thing about vibrance, oh, let's press that button again, click. So the cool thing about vibrance is that I can um, add more vibrance, but I can also take away my saturation. Then I can go back to my brightness and contrast, and now that I see how it looks without color, I can adjust it to a tone that is more suitable for my image while it's black and white. All right, and from here um, I can actually go ahead and begin more masking. So this time, just to keep it different, well, you know what, yeah, just so you'll know, because at first I was going to say to keep it different, we'll keep myself facing this direction, but I changed my mind immediately, because you should probably, you might want to know how to flip this. And it's really simple. All you have to do is have this selected. I like to press Command T, and then we can, which is basically free transform. So let's press enter real quick. So if I select this layer, go to edit and go to transform, and click one of these, that's the same, pretty much the same way I can get to free transform, or to be able to scale this and all that, which also allows me to be able to right click it and go to flip horizontal. And when I flip it horizontal, I'm facing a different direction. And now if I want to press Command T again and scale this, I can do that. Press enter, and all I'm going to do is go to my circle or my elliptical marquee tool, and I'm just going to create a circle, and I'm going to move it to where I want it to be, probably about right there. And from here, I'm gonna actually need 2 layers of myself to make this work. So I'm gonna duplicate this layer. Oops. Let's right click and go to duplicate layer. You can name it. Yeah, I'm not naming it right now. All right. So what just happened was You remember all the work I did to those other layers? Well, I broke that chain. And because I broke that chain, all of these adjustment layers are applying to everything. So let's undo that real quick. Let's grab all of these. And I forgot that I did this in the original. But anyway, so I grabbed all of these, then I converted it to a smart object. Now I can duplicate the layer and it won't have any effect. So duplicate layer. So now we're good. All right, so now that I have this layer duplicated, the first thing I'm going to do is keep this selection as it is, and I'm going to make another mask. Now it looks like nothing happened, but if I hide my top layer, you'll see that this happened, which is great. That's exactly what I wanted. So now, while I have this selected, I'm just going to press the command key so that I can get my circle back. So now that I have my circle back, I'm going to unhide my top layer, and I'm going to come right here, and what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to go to select, and I'm going to inverse my selection. Now what that does, if I press Q, it'll show me basically everything inside of the circle has been deselected. So everything outside of the circle is selected, which also includes my body. So I don't want that selected. So I'm going to add that to what is deselected by coloring this in. And matter of fact, that's one way you can do it, but I'm gonna show you how to do it without coloring it in immediately. So let's press Q again to get out of my quick mask. So if I'm looking at this and I just go ahead and mask it as is, it looks like nothing happened again. But if you look in this layer, this is here. All right, so how do I get rid of my bottom half? I just go to my quick mask or my layer mask, and I just delete what I don't want that way. So I could have done it earlier with my quick mask, but I could just as well do it in my layer mask. And that's pretty much it so far. So what I'm going to do lastly is to give myself a white background. I'm just going to select my layer mask with the perfect circle, and I'm going to hold command and click, and then I'll create a new layer, and inside that layer, instead of doing alt and backspace like I did to get the yellow background, I'm going to do command and backspace or control backspace to get a white background, because if I press alt, I'll get the yellow because the yellow's on top, and if I press command, I'll get the white because the white is on the bottom. So I'm press command and bam. Now I can press command D to deselect, and that's pretty much it. That is all there is to it. So if you have any questions or anything like that, let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys next time.